Hello, this is part two of a culture of going where we are valued. Okay. So, like I'm saying, people come to you, there'll be people who genuinely come to you because they need healing, they need help, they need a fresh perspective, they need insight that you carry. And because your heart is open, obviously you are connected to the creator. The creator is going to give you insights because you are coming with an energy of love, an energy of wanting to help your fellow human being, you know and also, I just want to, like, as a little bit of a tangent, is to say, if you are an empathetic person, you also need to cultivate a spiritual culture in your life, because I can guarantee you, religion as it stands, with its hierarchies and control systems and ritualistic ideologies that are not there to actually foster spiritual growth and awaken your dormant DNA, which is actually encoded with superpowers, you could say, that allow you to see beyond the physical reality and communicate with beings who are not in the physical plane. They're not there to do that. Okay, so you have to cultivate within yourself spiritual practices, just simply like praying in your heart to your creator. Basic stuff. I'm not talking like, climbing Mount Everest and meditating at the top of the summit or something like that. Simple things. But anyway, as I'm saying, people who come to you genuinely for help, by all means help them, and you will feel the great joy and pleasure that you get from helping people who genuinely want to be helped. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's one of the reasons why I became a teacher, because I love to see when kids learn things and become so expanded in their awareness, and they feel valued, because knowledge is power, and if you give people real knowledge, you're empowering them, and they feel grateful to you, and they feel like you are showing them love, because it is love. And I myself had an amazing English and history teacher in primary school, Mr. John Mitchell, but all the teachers there, and it was a family, the Mitchells, and also Anton Davies. Anyway, they're all part of the big family. And great teachers, amazing teachers. They loved teaching. They loved kids. They loved being there for us so that they could support our journey into acquiring knowledge so that we could become functional human beings on this planet, right? And before Mr. John died, in 2008, I went to see him, and I told him, like, what, because of you, I'm going to study education, and I studied history in university because you gave me such a deep love for history, for storytelling, for the English language, for English literature, and that love persists to this day, since I was a little kid, thanks to him. So, this is a good teacher. This was an empathetic man. He really cared about our souls, and so did his family. Anyway, point is, if people come to you genuinely seeking what you have to give, by all means, there you are valued. There they will treat you with respect. Okay. But also don't make the mistake of thinking that because they value you, that they are, I'm not going to say on your level, but that they are able to reciprocate. They can reciprocate by valuing you and saying thank you, but they're not going to be able to reciprocate on a higher level. Okay, so this is where it also becomes tricky with relationships, and this is where we get opened up to being manipulated and taken advantage of, because someone will come to you, and they're usually very intelligent, these people, okay, come to you and they'll be like pretending to value you and pretending to be on the same tip that you're on, that they actually also love people like you love people, that they want to help people like you want to help people. You know what I'm saying? But actually, they are just there to suck the energy out of you, because they can't produce energy for themselves, because they're utterly fake. And where does this utter fakeness come from? Unfortunately, and this is very sad, and this is why you as an empath can actually find yourself sticking around this person, because you can see that actually this fakeness, this hollowness inside, it's not who they are. It's a result of childhood trauma that hasn't been resolved. And this is where narcissism comes from. It comes from childhood trauma. You know what I mean? And you can see the pain behind things. That's why empaths are people who will tend to seek to understand everyone. This is why you can become a peacemaker, because a peacemaker is someone who brings opposing energies or factions together, because you are able to understand both sides of the story, because you know that deep down, no soul wants to be parasited on by evil. No soul wants to be in ignorance and darkness. they have to be in such a state of trauma as to dissociate from who they are, their true nature. That's why they're there. So you want to excavate all these layers of trauma and pain and get to the real person. But unfortunately, it is a very delicate process, and it is actually something that you need to leave for the professionals. But ultimately, and unfortunately, this is often the case. They have to choose. They have to want to heal. And healing is not pleasant, let me tell you, okay? And this is why they will lash out at you. This is why, after spending a lot of time in your energy, because your energy is an energy that requires healing. It facilitates healing, whether someone likes it or not. So you'll find them getting angry with you, lashing out at you, and even trying to destroy you because you present to them the truth of what life is and the truth of who they are. And the truth cannot exist in ignorance and willful ignorance, and cannot exist with lies and a lack of self accountability. It can't exist in that environment. And so they will find you to be a threat. The evil in them will find you to be a threat. And then through also their own unhealed trauma, find a way to seek to actually destroy you. So obviously you're not valued by someone who wants to destroy you, because if someone valued you, they would want to help you to spread your ability to heal people as far as possible, right? So, and like I say, healing is not comfortable. Okay, I went to rehab for 7 months, from December 2019 to July 2020. And I wrote over like 200 pages of emotional, physical, spiritual, and intellectual trauma excavation. Okay, it's not pleasant. It's not comfortable. Okay, and unfortunately, in this very fake world that we live in, people present healing as like, oh, you're just gonna feel so much better about yourself. Like people like Joel Osteen. Okay, whatever. I don't care what thing he's pushing, but his version of healing is literally what I'm talking about. Of like, you just have to let Jesus into your heart and everything is gonna be just hunky dory. No, it's not going to be just hunky dory. Do you think that Jesus came to bring candy floss for the soul? No, he came to bring truth. He came to bring the truth of the Creator. And the Bible says our God is a consuming fire. He divides between truth and falseness. He looks into your heart. Okay, is it pleasant for gold ore to be burnt and smelted and then purified? It's being burnt. It's like the phoenix. When the phoenix burns itself to death so that it can become an egg and then birth itself again from its own ashes, do you think it's a pleasant experience to burn to death? It's not a pleasant experience. That's what healing is. It's burning away the falseness that you have dressed yourself with, the masks you've put on, so that you can survive in a harsh world where you've been taught that you are not enough, you must be something else, and that you will only survive and be loved if you are anything other than what you are. So healing requires you to get rid of those masks. It's not pleasant. It's extremely uncomfortable. You have to be so honest with yourself that it's painful, and you have to be honest with yourself in front of other people. Your counselors need to hear of all the crazy stuff you've ever did and all the crazy stuff other people have ever done to you. And they need to ask you how you feel about it. Okay? It's not pleasant. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable, And I did the 12-step program. And there's one step where you have to take a moral inventory of yourself. And this is where you have to really just get into the nasty stuff you did and the stupid stuff you did and how much money you wasted as an alcoholic in my case. Not pleasant. Not pleasant. Okay, I'm going to carry on in part 3 because, yeah.